Coming to you live from the Big Dome. It's the second round of your UAAP Season 76. ABS-CBN Sports proudly presents.
Mariano the steal, Mariano the slam, and Jose now into
Teamwork.
They're looking to break that streak today. Ball right back up.
Heart.
Javier, three. Oh, what a shot!
Focus.
Then gets the press screen. Mark puts it down on AB.
Power.
Oh, what a move!
Instinct.
Revilla goes to his right. Revilla puts it up.
Confidence.
All the way. Posterizes Carrillo.
Pride.
Torres, Rondial tries to tip it to himself. He gets it back. Rondial gets it up.
Excitement. UAAP Season 76. Greatness never ends.
Well, after a 2-week break, a chance to rest and lick some wounds to gain or regain momentum, or a chance to reassess themselves, we resume collegiate action. And after an auspicious first game of the second round, as DLSU defeats Adamson University by the skin of their teeth in our first game, we get to the second game of our double-header. Undefeated and league-leading Far Eastern University starts its second-round campaign when it takes on National University. Welcome to the Araneta Coliseum. Welcome to our live and exclusive coverage, courtesy of ABS-CBN Sports, here on Studio 23 on the Filipino channel all over the world and in high definition on Balls HD channel 167. Hello, I'm Boom Gonzalez, together with Charles Tew. We're also flanked, of course, today by Trisha Robredo from National U and Judy Sarro from FEU. It's great to see everybody again. Welcome back to the UAP girls, and we'll talk to you in a bit. Well, Charles, 7 teams had their crack at FEU in that first round. All of them failed. Now National University has another chance to try to give FEU its first defeat.
Well, pretty much the talk during the break in between these two rounds is which team will finally give FEU its first loss. And, you know, National U, the preseason favorites after a strong preseason, perhaps not really playing as well as people expect them. They find themselves at 4-3 right now, a few games behind FEU. And, you know, this is a very crucial game for them. It can create a little bit separation for them, give them the solo second spot if they beat FEU.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for FEU, they want to further build their lead and get that early twice-to-beat advantage as early as now. And, you know, we take a look at the standings. Adamson, after that heartbreaking loss that you mentioned, now find themselves in 7th place, just a little bit ahead, just a little bit behind Ateneo and LaSalle Green Archers now. And you does not want to end up tied with LaSalle, which is why this game is just so important for them.
Every game, as evidenced by our first game earlier, you know, both teams really needed that win as DLSU came up on top. But here we talk about the second round meeting between National U and FEU, and in the first round FEU came out blitzing, and especially with that guy on your screen, Terrence Romeo, 6 triples. That was the game where FEU shot 15 triples in that game, 52% for separation. Well, as much as a big 20-point lead, if I'm not mistaken, only to lose it in the end. I mean, the lead, but hanging on tough against National U.
Exactly, Boom. FEU just shot lights out in that game. They played very unselfish basketball, made the extra pass, found their open teammates. But we also have to give credit to NU. They didn't quit. They battled back. They were down 20, cut the lead down. They ended up only losing by 4. But FEU was a bit careless at the end of that game. And I'm sure Coach Nash and also Coach Eric will make proper adjustments for this game and try to lead their teams to victories.
Emmanuel Embe was big, especially in that fourth quarter, especially from the offensive rebounding department. He had 12 offensive rebounds, part of the reason why they were able to come back in that game, in that fourth quarter. 87-83 was the final score. We'll talk more about FEU and National U when we come back.
UAAP Season 76. Greatness never ends. UAAP Season greatness never ends.
We're back inside the Araneta Coliseum, the big dome for the game between FEU and National U. FEU still undefeated to start the second round at 7-0. National University at 4-3. Now, when you are 7-0, Charles, obviously when you look at departments, all different departments, you've got numbers where you are leading. FEU is leading. It's so many departments, 12, if I'm not mistaken. That includes offense, defense, and even in turnovers and turnover points. But they're a great defensive team, which is overshadowed by their numbers offensively, Charles.
Exactly, when you can see the numbers here, 80 points per game. Now, that's such a high number for college basketball, but you mentioned it. I mean, more than just these offensive stats, they are a very good defensive team. They allow the lowest field goal percentage.
Correct.
And, but talking about their offense, they share the ball so well, which is why they have so many assists. They're number one in the league. I mean, it helps that they have 3 dynamic scorers who can create their own shots, but it's not just that. They have role players who step up every game. Someone else is helping their big 3 score, and, that they're just playing very good team basketball.
They're number one in all of those departments, and then they're also number one, as you mentioned, total field goals allowed, block shots, steals, fast break points allowed. Those are all defensive departments. Pero talagang yung opensa neto ni R.R. Garcia and Terrence Romeo ang nakikita. And they are the only players, Charles, who have won the Player of the Week award in the first round of the UAP so far. And of course, as we know, they're undefeated. As we bring back Judy Sarrell into this conversation, well, we welcome you back, unang-una, Judy, into the coverage. Maraming opinyon dun sa iyong kupunan kung bakit kayo nananalo, bakit wala pa kayong talo, pero pinakamahalaga yung opinyon ni Coach Nash Rosella. Ano bang masasabi ni Coach?
Yes, boom, na ibahagi niya sa akin ito yung si Coach Nash Rosella na as a person, he don't really let his emotions rule and take over him. Kaya nga nung tinanong ko siya kung ano ang komento niya sa naging resulta nga ng first one para sa kanila, ang sagot lang niya, he's happy, pero it's still a long, long way to go. Kasi nga itong si Coach Nash, dahil gaya nga ng nasabi ninyo kanina, offensively, they are really executing well. Napaamin nga siya at sinabi niya sa akin, pag nadala daw nila ang magandang opensang ito ngayong second round at hindi makapag-respond ang mga kalaban na team, magiging advantage daw ito para sa kanila at posible rin na marami rin ang makuha nilang panalo. Well, boom, sabi niya, hindi lang dapat opensa ang kanilang isipin, kundi depensa rin. Dahil ayon sa kanya, isa rin ito sa kailangan pa rin nilang improve this second round. That's all for now, Boom and Charles.
Maraming salamat, Judy. And UAP coaches will always say, the intention, of course, is to improve every game as they go into the Final Four. And we would like to congratulate also on a side note, Coach Nash Rosella and Coach Josh Reyes for their work at our national team and the silver medal that they won recently in the FIBA Asia Games. Now, let's talk about the National University, Charles. 4-3, not where a lot of experts expected them to be. When you are at 4-3, Charles, there is something that is inconsistent. What could it be?
Well, in the case of NU, it's clearly their defense right now. They are a very good defensive team. They're actually number 1 in terms of points allowed and number 2 in field goal percentage allowed. But the problem is they're just so inconsistent in these aspects. In their wins, they only allow 59 points per game. Meanwhile, in their 3 losses, they've allowed 75 points per game. Now, that's a little bit puzzling for me because, they're a very good defensive team, and defense is about effort. You can have off shooting days, offense, sometimes it won't come for you, but the defense is all about effort. And I think, I'm sure Coach Eric will point that out to them and maybe make some adjustments to further improve their defense and get them to play with more effort and more consistently on the defensive end.
16 points. That's a big difference.
Yes, big disparity.
It's night and day to some people when you talk about in the wins and losses. And it'll be interesting the kind of tweaking that Coach Eric Altamirano will do for the second round. As we bring back Trisha Robredo into our conversation here now, Trisha, a lot of people, of course, we all know, expected National University to be title favorites. They were preseason favorites. A lot of people are surprised at the 4-3 team standing. Does Coach Eric Altamirano share that same opinion?
Well, Boom and Charles, you know what? Round 2, it's time for redemption. Nagbabalik ngayon ng Bulldogs ng mas handa at mas desididong manalo para sa National U. hindi sila masaya sa nagawa nila nung first round. Kaya naman gusto nila makabawi. Coach Eric Zamorano tells me that the 4-3 record has really affected the team. Of course, they hope for better, but they are actually very grateful for having the wake-up call early on in the season. The boys are now more focused and they have been playing like a champion team ever since. Now the Bulldogs anticipate improvements from all the other teams, which is why they constantly remind each other to play at their absolute best. Sabi nga nila, lahat ng games ay importante na at bawal na ang giveaways. Makita natin ngayon kung paano maglaro ang tunay na Bulldogs. Boom and Charles?
Maraming salamat, Trisha. Well, the good news for National University and for the rest of the UAAP is there's a lot of time, a lot of games to play, 7 of them to be exact here in the second round, to try to catch up with the undefeated Far Eastern University. Now we go to our Gatorade Fuel Duel of the game. Because with Gatorade, they are fueled for the win. We're talking about MVPs, former MVPs here.
Exactly, Boom. I'm very interested to see this matchup. I'm not too sure if they'll be matched up against each other, guarding each other throughout the game, but you can look at their numbers. These guys are just so good. You know, they score a lot, they both rebound well, and they also share the ball. They create for their teammates. Now, Ray Park struggled a bit this first round in terms of field goal percentage.
Correct.
He's shooting only 29% from the field, but you know, I'm expecting much more from him this second round.
And he's excited to get it going, and so are we. Coach Eric Altamirano, Coach Nash Rosella, they go head-to-head for the second time this year when we come back here on Studio 23.
AAP Season 76. Greatness never ends.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from the Big Dome, the Smart Araneta Coliseum, as we bring you the opening day of the second round in the senior division of your Season 76 UAAP. Let's meet the spotters for the still undefeated FEU Bulldogs. At forward number 9, Ryan Mendoza. Power forward number 12, Mac Bello. Center number 15, Anthony Hardrow. The out guard number 13, Mike Colombia. And the point guard number 7, Terrence Romeo. The head coach of the Commodores is Nash Rosella. And now the starting 5 on the National University Bulldogs. At power forward number 18, Dennis Villamor. Forward number 20, Mark Porter.
Balik po tayo dito sa UAP Season 76, dito pa sa Studio 23. Starting 5, courtesy of Hanes, America's leading underwear brand. National U and FEU. By the way, we have games here tomorrow, Thursday. Those are our Saturday games. We move it to tomorrow here at the Araneta Coliseum. So we'll see you right here. Again, our starters on your screens as these two teams are ready to engage for the second time this season 76 of the UAAP. Usual suspects for both teams. Let me ask you, Charles, as right now it's time to start the fun here in our second game, and FEU trying to draw first blood. Your experience with a lot of leagues, with a lot of players, 2-week layoff. The debate, rest, rust, whatever, what do you think it will have in terms of effect, let's say, to FEU or to even National University when they now sit back and reassess the first round?
Well, actually, some coaches prefer these long layoffs. First, it gives them a chance to get their guys healthy, and also gives them a lot of time to add new things to their offense, to their defense. You know, they can work with it. Of course, it may affect their rhythm. You know, they may start slow, although it doesn't look that way yet for NU. But, you know, I mean, as soon as the game progresses, it's going to be fine and back to normal for them.
And this I ask only because this is a rarity in UAP, that we have some sort of a break if there's not a, you know, back-to-back typhoons or anything like that. This is a very long break. In the case of FEU, who are unbeaten, by the way, after their last game in round number 1, they took 5 days off to rest and recuperate, according to Coach Nash Rosella. Pero pag-usapan natin maya-maya. Puntahan muna natin si Trisha Robredo for a Samsung courtside update. Go ahead, Trisha.
Make it or break it. This is how Ray Park describes today's match against the FEU Samurai. He tells me that while he does feel the pressure, he is very excited to come back on court. He has more confidence in himself and in his team, and he believes that they have a better chance of bringing home the bacon this time around. Now, a while ago, Blumenthal, he focused on NU's defense. You know what? This remains to be the battle cry of Coach Eric, and he believes that this is the key to winning today's game. Sabi niya nga, let's stick to our identity. It worked for us in the game against CLSU, and it will do wonders for us today. Start strong, play smart, and stay focused. Blumenthal?
Excellent, Trisha. Samsung Smart TV update, the most advanced Samsung TV experience ever. Now, I did say usual suspects. I correct myself. Maurice Porter starting for National U, and obviously to bother etong si Terrence Romeo.
Well, you can see that this role, obviously, he's been pressuring Terrence Romeo, really making it hard for him, getting into his head. He's already drawn one offensive foul on Terrence Romeo.
And they force another turnover. Talking about National U, that's hard to stop when you're Ray Parks in a full head of steam. They go 6-0 to start quarter number 1. As we join the break movement, have a break, have a Kit Kat. Nagbabalik po ang UAAP at ito po ang Nissin Yakisobrang move brought to you by Nissin Yakisoba. Yakisobrang sarap. 6-0 ang ating talaan so far as we look at this Master winning move. Lose the oil, win the game with Master. Put your game face on. Charles, Trisha Robredo was preaching about defense. Parang yun ang nangyari sa simula ng ating laro for NU.
Exactly. You can see the energy that they're bringing right now. They've already forced 4 turnovers for FEU, which is very uncharacteristic of FEU, who, as you mentioned earlier, is not the #1 team in terms of committing least turnovers per game.
You're right, and that's 6. All of the 6 points of National U are points off turnovers. Judy, kwentuhan mo kami dyan sa FEU side, please.
Women Charles, kanina nga sa dugout ay welcome back ni UAAP board member Anton Montinola ang FEU Tamaraw sa muling paglalaro matapos nga ang 2-week break nila. Nasabi niya sa kanyang mga players na gusto niyang ma-break ng team ang paniniwala dati sa FEU na maganda lang ang ilalaro sa first round at biglang bababa na lang bigla sa second round. Tingin niya, prove them all wrong. FEU is not going to collapse anymore. We can and we will make it happen. Dagdag pa niya, dapat may inspire ang FEU Tams sa national team na kung saan naging bahagi din ng coaches nila ngayon. Sabi niya, we have witnessed the best example of what we can be. I hope we are inspired because we, just like them, we have a chance to become a history. Lastly, sagot na lang ni Coach Nash tungkol dito, if you want to be like them, act like them. Umpisahan nyo ngayon. Come on, nahuhuli na tayo. Boom?
Maraming salamat, Judy. Samsung Smart TV Courtside Update, the most advanced Samsung TV experience ever. Coach Nash Rosella gave them a 5-day break after the first round as we look at this Bostik Tapal King of the Game brought to you by Bostik Super Bull Casil. After that 5 break, 3 days straight na practice at 6 a.m. and then a day break and then another 3 days straight and then another day break and 3 days straight. The thing though there is Coach Nash and Coach Josh only attended 3 of the 9 practices again because of their duties for the national team. Coach Eric Gonzalez wasn't also part of that because he was in the U.S. So it was Coach Johnny, Coach Martin, Coach Gilbert. As you look at the McDonald's Instant Slow-Mo, spice up your day with the new McSpicy. And Coach Ray, sila yung nag-handle nung 6 of those 9 practices. Is it different, Charles? And that is my question. When your head coach is not around.
Yes, that's very different, Boom. Of course, iba pa rin talaga yung head coach, and I'm sure Coach Josh and Coach Eric, sila yung mga top assistants who Coach Nash would probably delegate more of the assistant jobs too. But I mean, I'm sure he fully trusts his staff. I'm sure they communicate every day on what they should do. But I mean, syempre, malaking bagay pa rin pag wala yung head coach. But it's a sacrifice they made for our country.
Correct.
And, it's worked out for the best.
Parks underneath, and that's a turnover. Kaya wala si Coach Nash. Minsan natatapos na raw sila sa kanilang film viewing alas 2, alas 3 na umaga para sa national team. At syempre, tapos bigla namang alas 6 na umaga yung practice ng FEU. So, medyo mabigat nga naman para sa pangangatawan ni Coach Nash. But again, the sacrifices that they have to make. And now, FEU coming back here in the second round and has still 1 point in this game.
Well, solid NU defense so far. You know, Porter's only averaged about 6 minutes per game the first round, but look at him right now. He's providing very quality minutes. You know, he's still held Terrence Romeo scoreless so far.
Nice staying with him right now as Romeo misses. Remember, when National U was 3-3 before the LaSalle game, they had a team-only meeting, diba, after that game, their 6th game. They came out against DLSU the last time out with a little more purpose, Charles, and they won that game. So they're looking for a different kind of attitude here in round number 2. Obviously, they have not met the expectations of pundits with that 4-3 card.
Well,
Ray Parks.
Well, they're a good team, Boom, and you know, it's just a matter of time. They still have one whole second round to change things, and you know, it's the postseason that matters. You know, after the playoffs, the Final Four, which is really where it counts.
Perfect combination. Pure Foods tender, juicy chicken, cheese, hot dog. Anthony Hargrove is on the board. First field goal for FEU. Alolino against Romeo. And that's another aspect that Romeo has really improved that he's not getting a lot of credit for, Charles. His on-the-ball defense.
Well, he's been playing on both ends of the floor right now, and I think that's one of Coach Nash's emphasis. He's been saying, you know, it doesn't matter if you're the star or not. We all have to play defense, and you know, that's been FEU's calling card, and they're still in this game just because of their defense.
2 field goals now for FEU. The handoff from Romeo to Mendoza. 6'5". Ang ating talaan. And R.R. Garcia, I believe, getting ready to check back in. Porter. Down to Embe. Embe with a big game the last time these two teams met. We showed you the numbers earlier as Alolino with a rainbow shot does not work. Hargrove fronting Embe all the way, even in the rebounding scramble. Hargrove makes his move. Huling-huli. Ni Villamor.
So that's one thing NU has to keep up doing, stopping the fast break of FEU, and in that case they were successful, but FEU is going to keep on running, they're going to keep coming, and if you give them easy points, they're just so tough to beat.
NU has not scored since that FEU timeout. 6-5 is the score. Romeo tried to put on the moves on Porter. That's another tough shot, but he has made a lot of tough shots in round number 1.
I thought that was great defense by Porter. You just have to tip your hat off to Terrence Romeo for that amazing shot. That was so tough.
Another tough shot, this time by Glenn Cobuntin. Early offense by National University to snatch the lead back 8-7.
And the good thing for National University right now is different players are scoring. You know, most of the time it's only been Ray Parks and Embe, but right now with more players getting involved, they definitely need that if they want to win.
Romeo misses. Alolino looks at his right. No numbers. Porter is already huffing and puffing here. He's not used to, obviously, minutes given to him.
Well, he's been playing really hard defending Terrence Romeo. That's no easy task, as we know.
3 on the way, nothing there. Cobuntin! Another offensive rebound. But Hargrove puts a period in that sequence. Tolomia, one-on-one. Tolomia, spin cycle move, draws the foul. As R.R. Garcia coming in. Substitution brought to you by Smart Prepaid. Big Only Text 50. Magpaulan ng text. It is 8-7 with 3:30 to play. Let's look at Yellow Cab. Big move. Celebrate great times with the Yellow Cab. Delivery hotline 789-9999. Great times, great pizza. Terrence Romeo struggling, but rest assured he will keep shooting. You know, I think he's also making a case of being one of the most, and this is arguable still, one of the most well-rounded players, at least this year. We're talking about this year. His assists, his rebounds,
steals.
His steals. You know? Like I said, his defense has improved.
He's put up good numbers, Boom, and you know, it's just a matter of time. He'll find ways to score. You know, sometimes he may have off shooting nights, but he finds a way to get to the line and still score it. He's just that good a player.
Speaking of finding a way, Embe able to get it up and in on the undergoal stab. Nice trap there. Garcia gets through and draws the foul from Ronyo. 10-9 is the score. Let's look at this FUBU fearless shot on the early offense. by Glenn Cobutin for us bias. Bubu International. Ito naman ang isang PS Bank maasahan assist mula kay Cobutin. Simple lang mag-ipon sa PS Bank. Open a savings account now, as we mentioned. Embe with 27 points, 17 rebounds, 12 off the offensive end. And he shot 11 of 12 from the free throw line too in that game against FEU in that furious comeback in the last, 6 minutes of that game.
Yeah, he wouldn't let NU quit. You know, it seemed like it was going to be a rout, but he found a way to lead his team, make it a ball game, and FEU narrowly escaped with that victory.
Nakagaw, Tolomia, wala. Bumitin, ito si Glenn Cobutin for that rebound. Under 3 minutes to play.
Again, another good stop there by NU on FEU's transition offense. They're going to need more of that.
Inikot yung bola kay Ronyo. Humihingi si Embe sa ilalim. Double team on Embe. Uses the glass. That's his shot. He just came up a little bit short on that one. 2:30 to play in the first quarter of our second game today, Wednesday. Tolomia, drop pass. Oop!
Bravo.
Join the break movement. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. 10-11 is our score. Abante po ang FEU ng isa. A cool C2 Cool and Clean steal of the game. Brought to you by the new C2 Red 2 and C2 Iced Tea. Healthy sarap, great with meals. FEU is number 2 in that department as R.R. Garcia converts and gives them a 13-10 lead here. So FEU has settled down now from that slow start.
Looks like it. They were just a bit careless with the ball to start the game. They turned the ball over a lot, but since then they haven't really turned the ball over. Their half-court defense has been solid. NU's mostly scored on the turnover points that they had early on, but that was a good penetration there by NU. And speaking of a turnover, here's another one by R.R. Garcia, the second offensive foul on FEU this quarter.
Si Javelona, tinulak yata nitong si R.R. Garcia. Ito muna yung tira niya kanina, Suzuki fast break of the game. Brought to you by Suzuki's newest compact sedan, Swift Desire, Suzuki, a way of life. Ito naman yung isa. McDonald's Instant Slow-Mo, sold well by Javelona. Spice up your day with the new Much Spicy.
Seems like Coach Eric has dug deeper to his bench. And, you know, Javelona, another guy he didn't use much in the first round, but we've seen him and Porter early on in this game.
And you see guys contributing too, like Glenn Cobutin already has 6 points across his name so far here in the first quarter.
That's double his average of only 3 points per game.
And this is only his, like I said, the first quarter para sa kanya. Off the bench pa yan.
That's what NU needs. They need different players to contribute aside from Ray Park and Embe.
At pagdating naman dyan, abante ang FEU. They are number 1 in that department as a 3 hoisted rather, by Robin Ronyo. Balik ang abante, 17-13 this time. National University as Garcia carves space for himself. He knows he has the heft advantage on Javelona. The heft and the experience too. So no Embe and no Ray Parks for National U. And this is where they usually struggle, but so far they have survived. And they've actually gotten the lead too.
And those two have only contributed 4 points so far in the first quarter. So NU, other players doing a very good job of finding a way to score.
A 6-second differential. Game clock, shot clock. Huli yung pasa ni Ronyo. So patay na ang ating game clock or shot clock. At kay R.R. Garcia, ang bola with 6 seconds. Nakataka si R.R. and a great fake. The show and go by R.R. Garcia ties it all at 17. First, Great Taste White, Great 3, courtesy of Ronyo. Our coffee is white, Great Taste White. At ang sagot naman ni R.R. Garcia kanina, ang nagpatapos ng ating first quarter. Pero si Glenn Cobutin off the bench for National University, ang ating Jollibee champ of the quarter. Big burger goodness like no other. Glenn Cobutin off the bench. 6 big points as National U and FEU are all squared up. We're back from inside the Big Dome at Araneta Coliseum, the venue for today's games. FEU and National University going at it, and we're tied at 17, courtesy of R.R. Garcia's last-ditch shot, the layup, and the show and go. He has 8 points in that first quarter. Ray Park's a big story in that first quarter, Charles.
Well, he saddled on the bench with 2 fouls, picked them up early. He's only played 3 minutes, but the story has been National U has found a way to keep up without their MVP. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, R.R. Garcia already with 8 points in only 3 minutes off the bench so far. So, tale of opposite stories right now.
Very efficient 3 minutes for him. Terence Romeo struggled in that first quarter, partly because of the defense of Maurice Porter, who will obviously come back in this game only if Terence Romeo is playing. As Perez with a high looper gets it up and in.
Well, you talked about Porter playing great defense on Romeo. Meanwhile, when it was Abelon on R.R. Garcia's eyes just lit up, and he knew he had an advantage, and he's been taking over as he's about to again right now.
But you know, National U is getting points from different guys here. As Senchu misses on the turnaround, 19-17. Boom Gonzalez, Charles Tew, Judy Sarrell, Trisha Robredo, Direk Abet Ramos at the helm of this live and exclusive ABS-CBN Sports presentation, and a foul on the floor from Matamaraw. The two-more player of the game, brought to you by Rexona. It won't let you down. The former AUF recruit, Tristan Perez, contributing to the bench points of National U, the much-needed bench points of National U. You're looking at the two-time MVP on the bench with 2 personals.
Well, we keep emphasizing on Ray Parks and Embe and how they are carrying the scoring load. These 2 players actually account for half the team's points, so you know it's very crucial and important for NU to have different players contribute.
Oh, Avillonar unable to get the roll in that sequence. Romeo now, 15-footer. Uy, lumabas pa. Halfway down was that shot with Terence Romeo.
Well, we talked about FEU being #1 in fast break points so far, but they haven't really been converting on their fast break opportunities early on in this game.
McDonald's instant slow-mo spice of your day with the new McSpicy. 19-17 is our score. 7:47 of Romeo is 1 out of 5 from the floor so far in this first half. Let's check in with Judy Sarrell while we have time. Judy, go ahead.
Kung sa team practice nga ng FEU Tamaraw kahapon, tinapat nitong si Coach Nash ang lahat at sinabing as a coach, he's not really having that enough confidence going to this game. Dahil tingin niya, mas nakapagprepara ang kalabang koponan. Kitang-kita nga ito sa first quarter kung saan slow start ang FEU Tam. Kaya sabi ni Coach sa timeout kanina, naiintindihan na ba natin ang kayang magawa ng NU Bulldogs sa atin? Double our effort, especially on defending. Last instruction ni Coach, they won't be the normal NU team anymore. That's why we have to be ready. If they want to run with us, let them be. Just make sure to get back on defense. Boom.
Thank you, Judy, for the Samsung Smart TV update, the most advanced Samsung TV experience ever. A little sweet nothing being exchanged between Romeo and Glenn Copentin, if I'm not mistaken. Alam mo, balikan natin yung sinasabi ni Judy, ah. Well, Charles, you know, as we look at this McDonald's instant slow-mo, may habol pa. Spice up your day with the new McSpicy. A little spice coming from Glenn Copentin. But as you know, you're 7-0. Everybody's going to prepare for you in a different way.
Exactly, and you also mentioned earlier, Boom, that you know Coach Nash had to miss a lot of their practice time because of his national team duties, which is why he feels Coach Eric had more time to prepare for them. And you know, of course, they have a target in their backs right now. Everybody wants to be the first to hand FEU their first loss.
Perez thought about it. Oh, bad pass. Masyadong kaswal yung pasa. Ito si Tristan Perez as we now check in with Trisha Robredo from the other side.
Well, Boom and Charles, Coach Eric has expressed frustration over the errors, which really could have been avoided in the first quarter. He asks the boys to be more patient and to get organized first before attacking offensively. He reminds them that it will naturally come when defense is up. Secondly, he asks the boys to be more aggressive on rebounds. Hindi na pwede ang second chance points. Lastly, he asks the Bulldogs to be more careful with fouls as they have given several free throw shots in the first quarter. Back to you, Boom and Charles.
Maraming salamat, Trisha. Samsung Smart TV, the most advanced Samsung TV experience ever. This is a great defensive scheme that they have been putting on Terrence Romeo so far in this first half.
And you have to give credit to the ones defending him. They've played solid individual defense. Even that case, that last shot that FEU took, it was a tough contested shot, one-on-one. You know, NU has been playing solid individual one-on-one defense so far.
And they're also getting help. Like Porter lost Romeo earlier, but there was help coming from the weak side to deny Terrence Romeo to get any kind of rhythm here. Shot 1 out of 6 from the floor so far. FEU, the #1 perimeter team, is struggling at 1 out of 9.
Well, they're only shooting 28% as a whole so far in this game. So NU's defense really holding up.
No space to shoot for Romeo. Bello unable to bail out the team. So matagal na tayo nandito sa ating talaang ito, 19-17.
Well, defense has been prevailing so far in this game.
Both teams, no?
Both teams. So let's see if they'll find their offensive rhythm as the game progresses. You know, there may be some rust as we talked about the long two playoffs.
Some of it is poor shooting too. Oy, nakahabol pa si MB. Coach Nash Rosella begging for a traveling infraction. By the way, we have referees Ferdinand Pascual, Rico Boaron, and Michael Galutera. At si Bello, pangalawang foul na. As the Bulldogs call this timeout with a 2-point lead. Join the break movement, have a break, have a Kit Kat. Here in our second game of our Wednesday doubleheader, the Roberto family is who you're looking at. The RCBC Savings Bank life-changing moment. RCBC Savings Bank. My loans, it's life-changing. 0 of 8 are the Tamaraos. And 1 of 5 are the Bulldogs. In this second quarter, it has been an offensive struggle so far, to say the least. Jean Embe, 5:29 to play, giving them a 4-point lead, which is a luxury at this point. The biggest lead was at 6. That was at 6-0 earlier on.
Well, NU going to a zone trap after that free throw, but they switched back to a man-to-man defense. They're not going to let Romeo get any breathing space.
And Porter has just been in his face. Just contesting every shot. That's a great block by Embe on Anthony Hargrove.
So the poor shooting continues for both these teams.
But FEU, no field goal. Romeo this time, that's as open as he has gotten.
That's a perfectly executed bounce play. You know, if you're a coach, you're happy that you got that. Meanwhile, if you're the opposing coach, you're definitely frustrated to give up an easy basket like that off the inbounds play.
Alejandro for 3. No. And Hargrove just face guarding Jean Embe. Inigo, walang pumantay, pulls up from the elbow, nothing there, and a foul will be called. Somebody pulled down someone, and it is actually Anthony Hargrove who was called for that foul. Pure Foods perfect combination. Pure Foods tender juicy chicken cheese hot dog, bringing you that play from Terrence Romeo with only 4 points. Romeo had 24, 6 triples in the first meeting. Oh! Skying high for that rebound was Embe, and I think unintentionally Anthony Hargrove swiping Embe, which caused the fall.
And that's his second foul, so let's see how Coach Nash will react. Looks like he's going to take him out right now. Can't pick up his third, but it was a tough break for Hargrove, who's been very active in the boards, boxing out if not getting rebounds for FEU.
Look at that again. That's the swipe. Again, it's unintentional. You can even argue that there wasn't a foul. That was momentum, but the foul stays. 7 on the shot clock of National U. Avillonar fades away, gets it to trickle in. First 2 points for Avillonar.
So more and more players scoring for National U. Seems like whoever Coach Eric is bringing off the bench or putting on the floor has been contributing somehow.
And a foul is called on the Terrence Romeo drive. Nissin Yakisobrang move, brought to you by Nissin Yakisoba. Yakisobrang Sarap, Abilionar, getting it up and in. Pumasok na rin pala si Ron Denison. Ron Marvis Denison para sa FEU. Dating University of Visayas. And again, it's Porter on the Romeo. Crossover. Romeo drives. Still no go for him. Makatakas man siya kay Porter. Merong second defender. As you look at our players, Haynes on the floor. Haynes, America's leading underwear brand. Handoff to Alejandro. Inside to Embe. Embe, 5 seconds, fades away. That's a sharp angle.
Here comes FEU. They better score in this possession.
Colombia loves this opportunity.
That's more of what they need right now. They need these easy baskets. They are the best fast-breaking team. They haven't been converting today, and they need to do that even more because the half-court defense of National U has been very solid. They've been sending many defenders, protecting the paint from all these penetrations of Terrence Romeo.
Colombia has always been a great finisher, even in his high school days. A foul drawn by Alejandro. That is the 4th team foul by FEU. You know, by the way, for those who just tuned in, Parks with 2 personal fouls. Only 3 minutes here in the first half, and yet his team is up by 2. Enjoy the break movement. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Our Haynes Seat Surprise winner, this is Milo Osias. Haynes, America's leading underwear brand. Paalala lang po namin, bukas po, nandito tayo sa Araneta Coliseum. Good games. Ateneo and UP in our first game, UST and UE in our second game. In the meantime, Alejandro's on the line, and he is way short on that attempt. Para kay JJ Alejandro, dating Mapua. Garcia, 5 minutes, 8 points. But we haven't heard from him in a while. Embe is 1 out of 6. Romeo, 2 out of 9. And that guy, 2 personal fouls, 3 minutes in the first half. But they're in the lead by 2.
Well, it must be tough for him to watch right now. He's waited so long to play after that long layup. And 3 minutes pa lang, foul trouble na siya kaagad.
Kasasabi lang ni Tricia Robredo kanina, di ba? Excited na excited maglaro. Si Parks, ang ganda ng pasa ni Alolino, tamang-tama lang para kay Embe. At abante po ng 5 ang National U. Very different from the first round meeting between these two teams. And again, Colombia with that ability to take contact and finish the play.
Well, it's been very different because NU's defense has really been solid. You know, in that first game, FEU had so many open looks from 3-pointers. Fine, they made a very high percentage, but a lot of the shots were open. Now I haven't seen much, if any, open shots for FEU.
Pinilit naman ni Embe yung galaw na yun. Colombia again, teardrop time. Not that time. And Alolino will go forward to Villamor. FEU defense was there. Alolino with 13 on the 24. Pick given to Embe. And that's a play that they always run, but Embe this time overshooting that one.
Well, that's a good possession if you're NU. He had a very good look. He just wasn't able to convert, but to get deep penetration is what the coach wants.
You see that all the time, even with Ray Parks. As Colombia steps back for that long 8 points for Mike Colombia.
Well, he and R.R. Garcia have been carrying the offensive load now. They're just waiting for the third man of their big three to find his offensive rhythm.
And again, that's the luxury of Coach Nastrosella. You know, you have one struggling in Terrence Romeo, the leading MVP contender. But you have Colombia and R.R. Garcia to pick up the slack. And speaking of, Master winning move. Lose the oil, win the game with Master. Put your game face on. He started 0 of 4. And he has been 3 out of 4 since, talking about Colombia. Ito naman yung kay Embe, celebrate great times with Yellow Cab. A Yellow Cab big move delivery hotline, 789-9999. Great times, great pizza. Under a minute to play here, and Ronyo contributing also. 4 points for him, a triple earlier, and a 2-point lead for last year's hosts. We are live streaming for free on UAP Sports TV, .tv rather, and iwanttv.com.ph. You can also watch a replay on iwanttv.com.ph. pati na rin sa balls. Sky Cable Channel 34 and Destiny Cable Channel 36 after, I think it starts tonight at 9 p.m. Alolino leisurely walking into that FEU defense.
Well, someone fell asleep there. It was just too easy. Can't let that happen in a tight game like this when points are so hard to come by.
Garcia gets into their attack zone with 15 on their 24. Garcia goes to the right, spins back to the left, and look at that. Just could not finish the play. Embe with the emphatic rebound. Last shot time now for National U. Coach Eric calling the play from behind. I don't know if Jello is aware of what play it is. Jello says, I'll take it. Back-to-back baskets for Jello Alolino to match their biggest lead of the game at 6. 31-25. An Oishi oh wow moment of the game opened up to everyday surprises. Alolino, pretty crafty move in that sequence.
Well, NU's figured out a play. In the last 3 possessions, they've had a simple two-man game between Alolino and Embe, and they've had good shots out of it. And, you know, let's see how FEU will adjust and make a defensive adjustment for that in the second half.
Jollibee champ of the quarter is Mike Tolomia. Big burger goodness like no other. National U ahead by 6. All that without Ray Parks playing significant minutes in the first half because of foul trouble. 31-25. Halftime po sa aming pagbabalik dito sa Studio 23. Ay kay R.R. Garcia, kay Terence Romeo, actually, gusto pa niya yung nangyayaring ganun. Now, interesting is the adjustment by Coach Nash Rosella. How will he counter, especially on an individual standpoint, yung depensa ni Maurice Porter kay Terence Romeo?
Well, they need to run Romeo off some more screens instead of just letting him dribble and create. I mean, that's his strength, no doubt, but maybe some more pick and rolls because Porter's been doing a good job, and you have to give him credit for that.
Dedicated. Kumbaga, sinasabi nga natin, inaasawa itong si Terence Romeo ni Maurice Porter. Nakalibre si Romeo. Tumira na 3. Malakas.
Well, Romeo 2 for 10 today. So, again, you know, defense of NU has been very solid.
Tsaka may kasama ng gigil, Charles, when you're struggling and you know you're also being defended well by a player who's not in your, let's say, level in terms of, we all know where Terence Romeo is right now. You want to keep shooting at him. You want to keep trying to prove to the other team that, no, you can't guard me or anything like that. But Maurice Porter has stayed with him toe-to-toe so far defensively.
Yes, we haven't seen any open looks for Terence Romeo so far, but another tough break for FEU right now as Hargrove picked up another foul and he has to sit on the bench very early on this third quarter as R.R. Garcia scores on that fast break. So, you know, easy basket there for FEU.
31-27, almost a minute gone by. Parks. Well, one thing he is well rested, that's for sure. As Villamor misses, Alolino doesn't get the roll that time. The show by Villamor. Garcia goes to his left, fakes, goes back to his right. Medyo malakas yung pasa na yun, but FEU able to save the ball.
Well, I thought R.R. could have shot that ball actually after that nice spin move.
Jack and Jill Chippy, our kada code of the game. Walang basagan ng trip. Kada bonding, Chippy. Romeo looking for a 3-point play. Get a consolation prize though. 2 free throws. And Embe was the one who called on the help contest.
Well, that's the second or third time Romeo's gotten a shot off that inbounds play. So, you know, NU needs to adjust on that.
Thing though is Porter has been playing good defense on Romeo without fouling that much too, Charles, no?
Solid defense. He stripped the ball a couple of times. Yes. He's drawn an offensive foul, and he's got into Terrence's head. You know, Terrence obviously wants to score, pero wala eh. Tough defense talaga. But, you know, I'm sure Romeo will find a way to get his points no matter what.
If you're Coach Nash Rosella, what you don't want him to do is find a way away from the offense, though. Yung parang nagpipilit na ng konti, which is what he was criticized for in previous years. You still want him to stay within the offensive flow of FEU. All right, speaking of FEU, let's listen in to Judy Sarrell. Judy.
a really loud silence. Yan nga ang nangibabaw sa loob ng dugout kanina habang nagsasalita itong si Coach Nash. Pangunang salita ni Coach, kaya pa ba natin ipanalo ito? Bakit nga kay Coach ang disappointment sa kanyang mukha dahil nga sa nangyayari sa game ng Tams ngayon. Nasabi nga niya na hinahanap at pinipilit ng FEU players na maibalik ang paglalaro na ginagawa nila ng first round. Pero talagang they are having rusty plays and struggling offensively. The second half, sabi na lang ni Coach, mantiyan nyo si Alunino at mag-focus kayo sa paglalaro. Pahabol na lang ni Terence, teka lang, hindi pa tayo talo. May chance pa na makabawi tayo. Boom and Charles?
Samsung Courtside Update, Samsung Smart TV, the most advanced Samsung TV experience ever. At yun na, nakabawi si Terence Romeo. Nalibre ng bagya. Nahanap siya kanina dun sa sulok. Nakatira ng tres. Ito muna, yung pasa ni Ray Parks to Alulino while falling out of bounds. Basta perfect combination. Pure food tender, juicy chicken cheese hot dog.
Well, FEU did a good job of pushing that ball. NU's defense wasn't set, and they were able to find Romeo for that three-pointer, and he let out a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah.
He was screaming and pumped up. Let's see if that gets him going a bit more right now.
Embe. Oh, nice footwork. Pumitin pa. But Bello with a good contest. FEU looking to run. Romeo goes back to the right. Sets up. Oh, wala. What a sorry miss for Cruz. 7:08 remaining. Ito pa isang taong nanggigigil, Charles? Dahil matagal na pahinga. And a foul committed by Romeo as Parks trying to post him up. At least sinasabi mo. And there, Porter unable to recover right away. So Romeo ends up with a great taste white grade 3. Our coffee is white, great taste white. Look at the expression after the shot.
Well, you saw there, RR was able to make the defense commit to him, and a very unselfish play by him, finding his open teammate, a guy who really needs to get it going.
Parks again, fades away. Still no go. Parks may be trying too hard here offensively. Garcia, na libre! Tapigan ng bola, mapupunta kay Bello. And a foul committed on Embe. Dun sa kanyang habol, ito muna yung hiyaw. Itong kabitenyong si Terence Romeo, the do-more player of the game, brought to you by Rexona. Won't let you down. Embe. 2 personal fouls on Sean Embe. Bello. First point of the game. 33-31. If you missed it, what a first game on the second round of the UAAP. An overtime game right away between DLSU and Adamson University. DLSU prevailing by 1 point, courtesy of Amon Vosotros. In the meantime, let's visit with Trisha Robredo.
Well, Boom and Charles, in the dugout, Coach Eric tells the boys he wants to see them put in more effort in the second half. He commended them for a job well done in shutting down several Sam rounds, but he wants them to pressure their opponents more. Sabi nga ni Coach, make them work hard for their shots and deny if you can. Secondly, he asks the boys to know when to help. Help when you can, but make sure you can recover. Lastly, Coach Eric asks the boys to keep their composure and to take care of the lead. We have 20 more minutes. Now let's play intelligent basketball. Back to you, Boom and Charles.
Maraming salamat, Trisha, for the Samsung Courtside Update. Samsung Smart TV, the most advanced Samsung TV experience ever. Yellow Cab, big move muna tayo. Celebrate great times with Yellow Cab. Delivery hotline, 789-9999. Great times, great pizza. That's a long 2, by the way, by Villamor. Good enough to break an 8-2 FEU run, so the lead back with NU.
Well, if you're Ray Parks, that's what you need to do. If you see another defense committing to you, make that extra pass. He's already got 2 assists this quarter. I mean, he's too good a player to, start forcing the issue. Just be patient. The game will come, and he'll find a way to score somehow.
Oh, nice ball fake. Parks up and in. Oh, that must have felt good for him too. And the lead is back to 4. Join the break movement. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Ray Parks with this shake of the game. Brought to you by Mogu Mogu. You gotta choose. And Parks, that is only his 4th point. Lucky Me Supreme moment. Brought to you by Lucky Me Supreme. Live Supreme, 37-33, 5:45 remaining. Parks to Porter. Porter up! Not in, though. Bothered by Terrence Romeo. Parks breaking up the play, and it will be FEU ball. We just expect games to even get better in the second round. We've had a great number of games in that first round, but the start of the second round has been well anticipated to begin with, and these four teams are delivering or have delivered so far.
Well, that's because all the teams this year are just so close. You know, the talent level is right there. There's no one really, ahead of another team, although FEU 7-0, but a lot of these games have been close. There have been some games where they easily could have lost too, and that's the beauty of the UAAP this season.
Yep. Haynes Comfort Team in action. Haynes, America's leading underwear brand. Remember, they were up 13 against LaSalle and won that one. They were up 10 against UE, if I'm not mistaken, and won that one. Down at the half 4 times, so it's not like they've been,
blowing teams out.
Yeah. But when you look at team standing-wise, though, it looks very good. 7-0.
Well, every play counts. It can make or break a game. Even free throw shooting, all these little things, and that's what FEU's been so good at. But they find themselves in a little bit of a hole right now. But it's nothing that they haven't overcome before in the past.
Well, like earlier, Asam and Charles, you're listening to Marco Benitez in that game number 1. Adamson missed a ton of free throws in that game, and they only lost by 1 point with 1.8 seconds remaining.
Exactly. Free throw shooting, a stat most teams overlook, and people don't realize how important it is. It can be early in the game, late in the game. It doesn't matter. You get free throws, you're supposed to make a good high percentage, and FEU #1 free throw shooting team in the league.
Parks for 3. No! Oh, Porter! Naiwanan, nalito si Terrence Romeo, underestimating Maurice Porter for the stick back.
Well, he's been bringing so much energy. He's been crashing boards, and at that time he was able to succeed. But just look at him. He's all over Terrence Romeo right now.
That's his sole purpose in this game. So yung nakita natin kanina, bonus na yun, kasamang Charles. O ito, nakakuha pa siya ng foul. And Terrence Romeo, humiga ka muna dyan dahil matagal-tagal nang naglalaro ito. 19 minutes, Charles.
Wow. Great effort.
Yep. The Yakisobrang move brought to you by Nissin Yakisoba. Yakisobrang sarap. And it really is the surprise package of Coach Eric Altamirano to start the game. And look at this. McDonald's Simpson slow-mo spice up your day with the new McSpicy.
Just look at the hustle there in that last play. He's so tired. He was just asking for water, trying to catch his breath, but he's done a good job. He's drawn 2 out of Terrence Romeo's 3 fouls, and
Yep, only played 4 games, 6-minute average. And today, 19 minutes. I know he was he was tapped already, obviously, before this game, maybe even a week before. They said, this is what you're going to do. But I'm sure being on the floor right now for almost 20 minutes is a different experience.
And I'm pretty sure Coach Eric wanted to take a gamble, perhaps, with a guy who hasn't been used much, and see if it works. But it's paid off such huge dividends in putting Porter in to try and contain Terrence Romeo.
Did you know Coach Nash Rosella served as an assistant coach for the Philippines during the 2013 FIBA Asia Championships? I hope you do, and congratulate him when you see him too. That live Supreme Trivia is brought to you by Lucky Me Supreme. Siya at saka si Coach Josh Reyes na nandyan din para sa FEU. California State University recruit itong si Mark Porter or Maurice Porter. Master winning move. Lose the oil, win the game with Master. Put your game face on.
Another quick basket there, as we saw by FEU after NU scores. They quickly pushed the ball and got an easy basket. But now Embe picked up his 3rd foul. So let's see if FEU can capitalize on his absence. He's been challenging a lot of shots.
That's first.
And right away, without Embe, they get an offensive rebound.
Yeah, that's
easy putback.
National U did well without Parks and Embe earlier in the second quarter. Let's see if they can do the same thing. Alolino is blitzed. Ronyo kicks it out to Parks with 9 on the 24. Parks gets away. Oh! I don't know if he was half thinking that he was going to dunk it or lay it in. Yeah.
That's what it looked like, and his expression says that.
His gesture is, I should have dunked it.
Well, he
Yeah,
just
not
exploded here. Take a look at this. He just blew by the defender.
You should have dunked it. He said, not everybody can say that, you know, I should have dunked it. But yeah, 2 out of 8 from the field. Ray Parks here loses the ball. Tristan Perez, though, able to pick it up. They have to get it into their attack zone right away, and they do. Under 3 minutes. Alolino again is blitzed. Alolino fakes. Kobuntin, who had a great first half earlier, nakaikot!
Nice move, and he just checked in the game. Nice bank shot there.
Instant offense from the former Letran standout. Bogoy in the ball game. Bello and Inigo there. And Cruz fades away, gets it up and in.
Tough shot there.
Very tough shot. 44-39. Enjoy the break movement. Have a break, have a Kit Kat. 2:25 to play in the third. Nagbabalik po ang UAP Season 76 dito po sa Studio 23. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtutok. At ito po ang ating FUBU Fearless Shot for us by us FUBU International. And how about Cruz for Pure Foods perfect combination. Basta perfect combination. Pure Foods Standard Juicy Chicken Cheese Hot Dog. 6 points in 4 minutes for him. 3 out of 4 para kay Cruz. Sablay, yung tira ng National U. Ang abante ay 5 na lang. 2 minuto, nalalabi sa ating pangatlong yugto. Inigo!
Nice sidestep move there by Inigo. That's another spark off the bench. It's rare we see both R.R. Garcia and Terrence Romeo rest at the same time, although they're having some foul trouble, both with 3 fouls already. So let's see if FEU can hold the fort.
Nice pass. Perez underneath. Perez tries again. Yes! What a patient move by Tristan Perez. Ang Kapampangan, pinihit pa.
And, you know, it's a good job by Ray Parks being unselfish here. You know, the defense is collapsing every time he's touching the ball, making it hard for him to drive. But he's being unselfish and finding the open teammate.
And very trusting, too, as you look at this navigation by Inigo. Pure Foods, no hassle play. Pure Foods crisp and juicy wingers, no bones, no hassle. Ito naman yung sinasabi natin, footwork na pinakita ni Tristan Perez. Oishi, wow moment of the game. Open up to everyday surprises. 46-41 in a minute and 13 remaining in the third.
Tough break for FEU there. They just missed the layup. Another knockout play off the inbounds, pero wala sayang.
And again, Parks forcing it from the outside, really cannot get it to go. Pogoy tuloy, tumire-diretso sa kabila. And that was Ray Parks' man, Charles.
Exactly. No one going back on defense after that shot, and a nice outlet pass there by Dolomia getting that long rebound. Good job by FEU running. They need easy baskets like that.
Biggest lead of NU here in this quarter was 9. It's down to 3. Pogoy staying with Parks with 9 to shoot. Alolino uses the pick. Alolino sumaksak. Ginamit pa yung katawan.
Alolino has been playing really well for National U so far. He's been their best player today, actually.
I like his control. He's making good decisions so far, Charles.
Making good decisions. He's driving. He had some nice floaters to end the half earlier, and he's been finding his open teammate.
Oh, helping the helper was Ray Parks, taking the ball away. Kobuntin looking for the last shot with 8. He gets the pick from Perez. Alolino! Another! At the end of the quarter, siya rin yung kanina, Charles.
Well, he had the chance to shoot early on, but he decided to take the last shot, and look, it's a great decision. It paid off.
But it is Carl Cruz who comes alive in the third quarter. They get the lead down to 2 earlier as a Jollibee champ of the quarter. Big Burger goodness like no other. But National U getting it back up to 7, 50-43. 10 more minutes to play. Game number 2 for round number 2 of the UAP Season 76. the NU section happy after 3 quarters. They lead by 7 on the efforts of Jello Alolino. 13 points for him as we join the break movement. Have a break, have a Kit Kat, the Kit Kat best break. Alolino 6 out of 11, a season high, as I mentioned, 25 minutes. And the 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals also, as Sparks is really kind of forcing it from the outside, Charles.
Well, it looked like they drew up that play to really free him up, and it's rare to see him airball that shot. Tough break, and he's smiling at us right now. He knows he's not going to get another good look like that.
And you know, these guys have the finishers. Garcia, Terrence Romeo, I don't care about the field goal percentage of Terrence Romeo and Garcia coming into the 4th. They're money men of FEU, so they got to be careful talking about NU as they sit on a 5-point lead.
Well,
Perez.
FEU can make a run anytime.
Anytime.
You know, they have to really control this game and manage their lead very well. I'm talking about NU.
Look at this shift of R.R. Garcia, and then the contact. Body control, the McDonald's instant slow-mo catching that. Spice up your day with a new McSpicy. Parks is 2 out of 9 from the field so far. Garcia, by the way, with 12 points for himself. Parks is on him. Naiwanan ni Garcia. Hinabol ni Parks. Good effort.
Well, Parks is now taking responsibility of guarding the best player of FEU. He may not be contributing so far scoring-wise, but if he's going to play solid defense, you know, he's going to help his team's cause a lot.
Garcia gets away, though, in that sequence, but unable to finish that play. The show by Kubuntin. Garcia goes to his left side. Nadula si Ray Parks. Pinilit ni Garcia. Nakakuha na naman ng offensive rebound. Pogoy against Kubuntin. Pinilit din! Oh, but look at that. Mendoza cleaning it up.
Well, bad job by NU boxing out there. That was 4 opportunities for FEU on that play. And, you know, Coach Eric quickly realizing he needs Embe back, so he's going to check in the next dead ball situation.
And this lead is down to 3. He's also putting back Jello Alolino, the man who has controlled this NU game so far. Abelona spins underneath the Kubuntin.
Well, this is another guy who stepped up big for NU. He's their 2nd leading scorer today with 10 points.
Traveling, that's a great call. Not bailed out by a foul. Master winning move. Lose the oil, win the game with Master. Put your game face on. Mendoza with the volleyball put back. Embe is back. Alolino is back. Kubuntin, by the way, 5 out of 9 from the field with 5 rebounds to boot. Ronyo is also back for National U. No sign of Romeo yet, but Aguilon is there for FEU.
Well, Romeo's only played 20 minutes so far this game, but he has been struggling.
Oh! What a move, what a bash, and a foul by Macbello. McDonald sits in slow-mo. Spice up your day with the new McSpicy. Drawing the defense. And a foul committed by Mac. Parks will trigger. 11 on the shot clock. Parks gets it back against Mendoza. Nobody to pass to. He was hoping Kubuntin was there, but Kubuntin was getting ready for the rebound. 50-47.
But again, good help defense there by FEU and Parks. They're really not making it easy for him, and you know, he's rarely had an open look. He missed one earlier this quarter, but shots have been tough to come by for him.
Garcia, after a series of picks, that's all he needs, really. That's what I'm talking about. He doesn't need too much space or time to shoot. He is always ready to trigger that ball.
Well, there wasn't much space there. Parks did a good job defending it, but that's what FEU needs to do. They need to run some screens first instead of just trying to dribble and try to force things one-on-one. Set their teammates up by setting solid screens.
Let's look at that play again. The contest by Parks, just a split second late. Great taste white, great hoisted by RR. Our coffee is white, great taste white. And it works for players like RR because he has one of those forms, Charles, that is just ready to shoot every time.
Exactly. You give him a little bit of space and he's going to make you pay. Parks went under the screen that time, and RR, he just needs that space.
Let's go to Trisha Robredo right now. Trisha?
No more transition baskets. In the huddle, Coach Eric emphasized what he's been pointing out all along. FEU has been scoring on fast breaks and they can no longer afford to suffer from this. The Bulldogs entered the last quarter with several defensive adjustments. Coach Eric wants the boys to put more pressure in the backcourt and to do a better job in containing the four. He also asks them to keep their vision and to play sharper for this round. Last quarter na at wag natin tong bibitawan. Back to you, Boom and Charles.
Thank you very much, Trisha. Samsung Smart TV, the most advanced Samsung TV experience ever, bringing you that courtside update. 15 fast break points is what your team has given up here in this game. Kobutin trying to get away. Ball is tapped. By the way, this lead is down to 2, and it is FEU ball.
Well, Hargrove had a good help defense there, but almost a
loses it.
turnover.
Yeah,
Almost a turnover. And look at Coach Eric. When R.R. Garcia started getting out, he quickly put back Porter to check him, but let's see now, because Romeo's about to enter again.
Nike power rebound of the game. That's Mbe. Nike play like it's still summer, and now Garcia and Romeo back in for FEU with 6:34 to play. Now let's check in with Judy Sarah.
Going to this last quarter, pinaalala ni Coach na sa FEU TAM na during hard times sa games, nakakaya at nagagawa nila naman ng paraan. Kaya ngayon, gusto nang isipin ng FEU Tamaraws na kaya nilang malagpasan ang hirap na dinadanas nila ngayon. Bumintense na nga ang huddle, kaya bago mag-start ang quarter na ito, kaya dingin nga ni Coach, wag niyong papabayaan ang mga tao ng NU Bulldogs dahil lahat sila gagawa. Think and focus. If you want to win this game, play good basketball. Boom.
At ito na nga, umabante na ang kupunan mo, Judy. 18 points for R.R. Garcia on a triple there. Samsung Smart TV, the most advanced Samsung TV experience ever. Porter cannot get it back. 6 minutes to play and only a 1-point lead this time for FEU na matagal-tagal na hindi nakakatingin ng kalamangan.
Exactly, and R.R. Garcia taking over. You know, they set him up here with a beautiful screen again, and he's just so good reading the screen, reading the defense, and he's giving him a space like that, he's gonna make it.
Great taste white, grade 3. Our coffee is white, great taste white. Again, it's his form. He's just always ready to shoot. And there he goes again, underneath.
He can do so many things. He can score in so many different ways, off the dribble, off the screen, and even post up, as he showed us in that case.
Haynes on the floor. Haynes, America's leading underwear brand. NU now trying to stop the bleeding. Season high for R.R. Garcia. And Parks still no goal from beyond the arc. The lead is 3 for FEU. Now, you can say so many things about Nash Rosell as a coach. Terrence Romeo and the MVP-like season. As we look at this Yakisobrang brew brought to you by Nissin Yakisoba, Yakisobrang sarap. But you have to give credit to R.R. Garcia for what he has done and what he has accepted. People will always say, well, the coach will give you roles, you're defining roles and all that, but at the end of the day, it's still up to the player to accept that role, Charles.
Well, he's taken a backseat to Terrence Romeo.
Yes.
Obviously, he struggled with it early on last year, maybe, but this year, you know, he's really accepted that, and he's so good a player, he can still take over a game anytime like he has so far today.
Oh, great rebound by Mbe. By the way, the last time FEU led, it was 13-12, 1:31 left in the first quarter. And I say that about definition of roles and designation of roles and accepting of roles. It's one thing to accept it if you're a player or a bench player, you're an Anthony Hargrove or let's say a Pogoy or a Cruz. But it's one thing, it's another thing if you were the former alpha dog of the team.
We're talking about an MVP here, and you know, are a great player.
So he has to get a lot of credit for what has happened here for FEU. With 3 to shoot, the Bulldogs go to Mbe off the glass.
Tough shot by Mbe. Barely beating the shot clock in that possession.
And for Mbe, that's only his 8th point. He has 8 rebounds. Solomia getting set to come back in. Porter continues to be on Romeo, who shoots the 3, comes up short. Tapik ng bola mapupunta sa FEU na naman. Abante ng isa. Ang wala pa ring talong FEU Tamaraws.
Well, FEU's been quicker to the offensive glass this period so far over NU, but you know, I'm not really liking the shot that Terrence Romeo's taking. He's been forcing the issue a little bit too much, especially with R.R. Garcia.
Yes,
with the hot hand right now.
The last 2 plays, he did not give up the ball, and Avillonar misses. Up, naipit na yun, naipit. Oh, there's a little jockey.
Great call there by the referee. The ball was stuck a bit.
The ball will go to FEU. Substitution. Mike Colonia comes back in. Brought to you by Smart Prepaid. Big Unli Text 50. Magpaulan ng text. Kaya muna natin itong galaw ni Embe. Celebrate great times with Yellow Cab. Delivery hotline 789-9999. Great times, great pizza. It is a precarious 1-point lead, and Bello changes that.
Wow.
He gets it to go from beyond the arc. 5 points for him.
Well, his man left him to try and trap Terrence Rowe, and he had a lot of time to set up his shot, and big shot there with a lot of confidence for Bello.
And the biggest lead for FEU, by the way, Charles, at 4 points, 58-54, all day to shoot for Mac Bello. The do-more play of the game brought to you by Rexona. It won't let you down.
That was only his third three-pointer of this season far, actually.
58-54, 3:25 remaining. Let's look at Terrence Romeo waving off R.R. Garcia in this last play earlier. And this was off an offensive rebound where he shot the ball previous to that. This time he forces the shot again against Porter. Comes up short. Nevertheless, though, Charles, FEU as a team has outscored National U here 15-4 in this quarter. Of the 15 points, Garcia has scored 10. 2 of them triples.
Well, they've just executed better, and their defense has been solid, as we saw again in that possession. Now, that hurts if you're National University committing a 5-second violation after a timeout.
Not happy. Brain trust of National U in that sequence. The lead is 4. That is the third turnover of National U in the quarter. Again, Romeo forcing another turnaround. Tough
Over
shot.
2 defenders. I mean, they had a double coming, and
Even Coach Nash Rosella is gesturing in the sideline. Ipasa muna.
well, he's been struggling today. Just 3 for 15 so far.
But they are in the lead, and that's the important thing. Under 3 minutes left, 5 seconds left here. And the shot clock, Embe gets it back with a second to shoot. National U will not retain possession.
Well, they had their chances in that possession, but solid defense again by FEU. NU's not getting any good shots. I mean, their shot clock has been running down throughout their possession, so FEU's half-court defense has been great.
National U 2 out of 9 from the field here in this quarter. Porter is on Garcia, the high man with 20 points. 12 on their 24. Uses the screen. Embe shows. Porter recovers. Ibinalik kay Bello. Bello lumapit ng bahagya. Wala. Tapik mapupunta kay Parks. A lot of time.
And you need to score and, I mean, try to run. But
Oh.
a turnover, that's crucial.
Oh, look at Parks' hustle for this one. And he gets it. Embe draws the foul.
And
What a
FEU's
play.
bench is livid at this
Coach,
call.
I love how Coach Nash pulled his assistants behind. Parang sabi niya, ako na magre-reklamo, wag na kayong makisali. Look at that scramble.
Everybody hustling.
Yeah. McDonald's instant slow-mo, spice up your day with the new McSpicy. It's tough to tell, really. Coach Nash asking for a charge. Coach Eric also.
Well, that was a tough call there, but judgment call by the referees, and can't do anything about it now. They just need to focus on the next play.
Coach Eric. Meantime, Coach Joey Guanyo, Coach Mon Jose. Anxious moments, 2:10 remaining, and a 3-point lead. Embe today. 2 out of 2 for finally getting into double figures. 10 points, 10 rebounds for Jean Embe. It is Tolonia and Garcia. Inilabas muna ni Coach Nash si Terrence Romeo.
Well, he's seen that Terrence hasn't really found his offensive group, and he's been forcing the shots a bit. So, maybe he'll let him settle down a bit, but I won't be surprised to see him back again later.
Parang pampakalma ng konti. PS Bank last 2 minutes. Simply lang mag-ipon sa PS Bank. Open a savings account now. Now it is Garcia that they're blitzing.
But again, look at the defense of Porter on Garcia. He's really been giving RR a tough time.
Porter's going to get a massage tonight after this game, after the kind of game that he's been playing on defense. and the kind of screens that he has to go through just to get to Garcia and Romeo. Dinoble si Garcia. Binawi yung doble. Mendoza spins back. Tolomia. Tolomia loses it.
Lots of time if you're FEU. They don't need to rush. And
Look at Parks again. But there's a
Kickball.
foul from another player. I think it was from Villamor, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, a kick infraction. Ganda na sana nung agaw, pero walang nakakuha para sa NU. And here's that little kick. Ayan, huli-huli. So they bring 14 to the shot clock.
But look at Ray Parks just hustle for that ball.
Yep.
You'd love that when your star player is fighting for every ball, for every possession.
That's the second time in the last minute. Garcia. They double Garcia again. Alulino. Embe almost traveled.
Oh, and the referee missed that. And
Oh boy, the
FEU's
bench
is going wild.
They're going crazy there. 58-56, and I think they're I think they're justified with that one. But we'll have to see it again. Here's Parks with 6. Alolino for 3. No! And it is back with Romeo with under a minute to play at a 2-point lead for FEU. Naiwanan si Porter. He's trying to recover. Romeo fakes, drives. No!
Wow.
Here come the Bulldogs. They go to Parks. Parks. Back to Porter. Back to Alulino.
Settle down, run your offense. Still have a lot of time. And there, they get the ball to their best player.
Parks gets away. And will shoot 2 free throws. Let's look at that. Embe. Ooh, that is really close, but it looked like a travel, Charles.
It did. I'd have to agree with you there, Boom.
It looks close, but it looked like he bounced the ball just at the time, but it looks like it was one of those awkward moves, I know, but it looked like a traveling infraction.
Wow, big miss here for Ray Parks.
That's his first free throw of the day.
Really hasn't found anything, any rhythm. He hasn't gotten anything going offensively, but you know, Terrence Romeo also missed that floater in that last possession, but he had a wide open R.R. Garcia in the corner. Just missed him there by a bit.
No free throws yet. That was his first. 1 out of 2. Good enough for an odd 1-point lead. And FEU possession.
Coach Nash just letting them play, not calling any timeouts here. Let's see if they're going to give the ball to R.R. Garcia.
No, it's with Terrence right now. He's shaking off the play. Porter is on him. 8 to shoot. They have a 1-point lead. Romeo loses it. Parks against Garcia. Parks loses it, but a foul is called on R.R. Garcia. And boy, Romeo again shaking off Garcia in that last play, Charles.
Well, I thought initially he was looking for R.R. to get him the ball, but you know, at the end he just decided to take things over. But look at Porter's defense again.
You got to give credit to the California native, really sticking it to Terrence. And here's that attempted steal. Tough to tell from that angle. R.R. Garcia claims there's no foul. So this is free throws again, right, Charles?
Exactly, and let's see if Ray Parks can make 2 this time. Big free throws, lots of pressure in this next 2 shots.
Trying to redeem himself. Well, he ties the game at 58. Coach Eric Altamirano. National U crawls its way back into the 4th quarter. This, by the way, we've only had 2 deadlocks. The last one was at 23. And Parks with the go-ahead basket with 9.5 remaining. We'll take a break. Wag po kayong bibitaw dito sa Studio 23. Balik po tayo dito sa loob ng Araneta Coliseum. What a start to round number 2 of the UAAP. An overtime win by DLSU with 1.8 remaining. And Vosotros knocking down a short stab na trickled around the rim before it finally decided to come in. And now, National U, courtesy of the 2 free throws of Ray Parks. He has 3 out of 4 in this last trips. has taken a 1-point lead, 59-58. They are 9.5 seconds away from dealing FEU its first loss of the season, but 9.5 is, as the basketball cliche goes, an eternity to go here. And who do you go to? Just so I can ask the question, Charles, who do you go to?
Well, normally there would be no question that it would go to Terrence Romeo, but the way he's been struggling today and the way R.R. Garcia has been playing, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Nash decides to go with R.R. Garcia for this last play.
9.5, and FEU is looking to make to trigger the inbound courtesy of Carl Cruz.
Well, it looks like Romeo's not even in the ball game. They didn't allow him to check in for some reason. So
he's on the technical table though right now. So obviously they will go to Garcia, but Tolomia is a wild card here.
Well, NU still has 2 fouls to give, and in this case just 1 more foul to give. So, you know, good job by FEU attacking right away in that situation.
Coach Nash knew that, so that's why he knew he can still have the opportunity to bring in Terrence Romeo, who is 3 out of 16 today. Charles.
Wow, really struggled, but also great defense by NU, and another foul here, but that's okay. They had 1 more foul to give.
I think Alolino wanted to give it a little later, but that's it. So Coach Nash will call another timeout, which means we will go back to studios for a commercial break. The final 5.7 when we come back. .7 FEU ball. Penalty situation. Who will take the shot? So far in round 1, Terrence Romeo has been the best closer for FEU, arguably for the whole league in round 1. Round 2, different ball game now. Let's see. Oh, so Coach Eric Altamirano calling the delay of the game to get a peek into the positioning of the players of FEU. Garcia, Romeo, and Tolomia all on the floor for FEU. They go Tolomia right now with 4 seconds. Tolomia puts it up. Tapik ng bola, and FEU will lose its first game of season 76 of the UAAP, and it is National U that deals the blow.
Great job there by NU. Great defensive possession. FEU had the chance with some putbacks, but you know, they didn't get a break there, and you know, you have to give credit to National U for the way they, you know, held their ground. FEU made a run, they took the lead again, but NU didn't panic. You know, they knew what they had to do, and they found a way to escape with this 1-point victory. But you know, they pretty much controlled the entire game, so a lot of credit to them.
Congratulations, Coach Eric and the rest of National U, the winning team. Bonchon of the game, powered by Bonchon Chicken. Team Bonchon for the win. RCBC Savings Bank, life-changing move, the turning point of the game. RCBC Savings Bank's My Loans, it's life-changing.
Well, this is the defining possession where, you know, Porter forced Romeo to a turnover by just playing solid defense, and you know, Ray Parks was fouled here by R.R. Garcia, and that was the 2 free throws. He made the 2 free throws to give NU the lead back.
And of course, FEU will think about that non-traveling call that was not called on Embe, and then the swipe which they were contesting kanina, which produced the Parks free throws. Nevertheless, having said that, they lose their first game. NU winning 59-58. We will be back to wrap this baby up. Well, 2 games decided by a whisker of a point. The LSU by 1 point against Adamson, and then NU by 1 point over the previously undefeated Far Eastern University Tamaraw. The do more player of the game brought to you by Rexona. It won't let you down, and that's the amazing thing. He tried to do more really for his team because he struggled on offense. Only 7 points, 2 of 11 from the field, but the 6 rebounds, the 2 assists, the 2 blocks, a couple of hustle plays for Ray Parks helped in their cause. Not to mention 3 out of 4 from the line down the stretch for Parks. The supreme moment in the meantime that you're looking at is brought to you by Lucky Me Supreme Live Supreme.
Well, going back to your point on Ray Parks, he just found a way to contribute even if he didn't have his best game offensively, and you know, of course, those clutch free throws, that's what big time players do. They make plays when it matters.
Our Jollibee champ of the game big burger goodness like no other. When Embe couldn't find his numbers, Barks couldn't find his numbers, this man steadied the ship for Coach Eric.
Exactly, Boom. And, Alolino played well. I thought he controlled the pace. He set up their offense well. He had 13 points to go with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. So
and some key baskets and key points also in the second and third quarter. Remember?
Exactly, and he forced FEU to adjust their pick and roll defense a bit just because he kept on finding ways to create and drive and get deep inside the paint.
Credit also to the bench of National U guys like Cobuntin, contributed sila Perez. Of course, the defense of Porter was huge. Pero si Alolino ang ating PS Bank maasahan player of the game. Simple lang mag-ipon sa PS Bank, open a savings account now. We have to choose him for this game, but it's special mention to guys like Porter and Cobuntin and Ronyo and everybody else for chipping in. We'll take a break first, then we'll clean up everything here at the Araneta Coliseum. Well, R.R. Garcia takes the consolation prize, Charles. He wins the duel in our Gatorade Fuel Duel of the game. Definitely he is fueled for the win with Gatorade. What a big game for him. 20.3 rebounds. And the fourth quarter was huge for him, but he was not able to touch the ball in the last couple of sequences, Charles.
Exactly. He carried the load for them, made a couple of big threes, tough shots. He almost led them to the win, but, good defense by NU kept him out of any offensive situation in the end game.
Let's give you an update on our Avida Hit It Home score. Take one for the team and shoot now. Join Avida's Hit It Home, and I think it's still Adamson, the hosts, in the lead. And UE right behind, together with National University. Paalala lang natin, tomorrow, balik tayo dito sa venue na nakikita nyo ngayon in sense. The Araneta Coliseum will host the 4 other teams who will make their second round debut. Ateneo de Manila University and the UP Fighting Maroons in the first game. Oh, what a good one. And the UST Growling Tigers and the UE Red Warriors. We start coverage at 1:30 p.m. for Ateneo and UP, and then UST and UE, and that's going to be a big one for the second game. But what about the first day of the second round action of the UAAP? Your thoughts on this exciting game, or exciting day, rather, Charles?
Well, the first game was a thriller, an overtime thriller again between Adamson and LaSalle. The second time this season, Adamson had their chances, but they weren't able to convert in the end. But it was a lot of Van Opsa and Almond Vosotros came up big for the Green Archers. Meanwhile, for the game we just did, NU, their other players stepped up. It wasn't really the best game for Ray Parks or Emmanuel Embe. FEU's star Terrence Romeo had one of his worst performances all season long, but you have to give credit to NU. They found a way to win.
Well, LaSalle winning at 70-69 in the first game, and then NU forcing 58 points only on FEU. We said it, they'll do it on defense, and they did. On behalf of Charles Chu, Direk Abed Ramos, Judy Sarro, Trisha Rebrendo, I'm Boom Gonzalez. We'll see you tomorrow for more of the UAAP on Studio 23.
Season 76. Greatness never ends.